when we brought him to Colorado, he was having 5 to 20 grand mal seizures every day that lasted at least 3 minutes, often caused respiratory distress, and then a whole plethora of other really uncomfortable things to talk about with his body. Mm-hmm. He started cannabis, and we immediately started to wean down on the pharmaceuticals that were shutting down his organs. Good. His seizures immediately dropped to less than one a day. We've gone weeks without seizures, all while weaning off of harmful pharmaceuticals. We're down on Onfi to 1/10 what he was on 6 months ago. We're down half what he was on Banzel. His seizures are less frequent. They're less severe. He has more cognitive and physical function. Used to Austin, if he would walk for a few minutes, he would lean on us. He would drag his feet. He would stumble and fall. We went to the Hard Rock in Denver for Mother's Day. He walked the block and a half from the truck to Hard Rock and then back, and we didn't have to help him.
Hey, guys, real quick, I just want to say you're tuned in to the Roll Up Radio Show on the GoPro Radio Network. We're having just a little bit of technical stuff. Nothing that's affecting what you're seeing, but we just want to make sure that we are streamed perfectly because I don't want Julie and Summer to get on my case, or Chris. But anyway, you're tuned into the GoPro Radio Network, the fastest growing network in the galaxy.
I'm paranoid today.
I am. But you know, you know what?
Are you in trouble?
I need some cannabis. Take the edge off.
We've already established that.
Yeah, really bad.
Why isn't he scared of me?
Like, I have to.
Why isn't he scared of me?
I have to come out there really soon. But yes, just.
I called him today, Amy, and he answers the phone and says, "Don't shoot me." Okay.
Because Julie sounds like this. Julie sounds like a hit woman.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess, when I was sick a couple years ago, I lost my nice voice. Never quite got that phone voice back.
Okay, well, we'll continue. I guess I finished doing the station ID.
Okay, good.
Because it's a no.
Don't get in trouble, Carla.
Okay, I'm trying not to.
Okay.
Well, at least I know. I know. At least I know if I do get in trouble, I know that you, Chris, and Summer have my back, so I'm good. I feel okay. I feel safe.
Well, did you hear it when she talked about just getting the petition on the ballot in Oklahoma? That it's pretty much set up so that people can't do that. Just another great form of democracy in this country. I don't know how we get to these points where the democracy really doesn't exist. So, Amy, we're down on seizures. Now, I've been following on Facebook. I know that you're readjusting his medication again. How are you what are you adjusting, and are you working with someone that really? Tell us about that. Because I know it takes time to figure it all out.
It's difficult. It's very difficult because, unfortunately, with the research that has been done until most recently on cannabis has been to try and find out the negatives of cannabis. And so, even in doing so, we've been able to find out some tremendous things, but the floodgates have just recently opened for the true definition of what this plant can do, given our technological advancements and where we are today as in comparison to 1,000 years ago, which is ironic because 1,000 years ago, even 150 years ago, our founding farmers were hemp farmers, so it seems like certainly we were going backwards. But when you plug big pharmacy into the equation, the answer is always going to be money and power. We all know this. The question now is, what can we do about it? And voting is incredibly important. And but you have to make sure that people know that you will vote, but you will only vote for someone that believes that Americans should have full access to a plant that they can grow in their backyard.
That's my only issue. Because the rest of this stuff, I don't seem to be able to control it. Their wars and all that other stuff. So I'm a one-issue voter now. And until we end prohibition, I am tunnel visioned on that. And that's why a lot of times you'll see me say, I won't vote for Republicans. Very few of them are for cannabis. They're very few. I love David Simpson down in Texas. God bless that man. I don't think he's really a Republican. I think he's a socialist liberal hiding behind a conservative Republican Christian facade. Because I've been watching him ever since he came out with his legislation that just got stopped by one man in the Texas Senate. One man stopped it dead in its tracks. But I've been watching this guy, and he has done not just his thing on cannabis, but just all the stuff that he talks about in the legislation, what he's for and against and why. I agree with that guy 100%. 100%.
He's stand up, and I have to throw this in there. My husband's a Republican.
Hey, I'm a registered Republican too, but I can't identify with these people of today.
Well, I'm not a Republican or a Democrat.
He's a Republican, and we make it work. Why can't Congress make it work? You know? I
think people.
But back to your original question, we really, when we got to Colorado, we found out very quickly that we were all in the same boat, and none of us knew a damn thing, including the doctors. Most of the parents had researched cannabis far more than the doctors even here, and a lot of it was fear. Too. For example, the whole taboo of THC. Let me tell you something. 0.5 milligram, 2 drops of THC rubbed in my son's gums stops a seizure way better than 1 milligram of clonazepam with no after effects. And so, we knew that we were going to be, we knew we were going to be weaning him down off of pharmaceuticals. We checked the dosage. Our son will never be as high on THC as he was on pharmaceuticals. Not even close. He's literally at 3 milligrams a day. It's beyond. It's ignorance and misinformation, and it's taking apart a plant. I mean, it's a plant that has over 400 compounds. So imagine, what we could do. We're alienating CBD and THC and even THCA, and really all it is dissecting a plant so that people can patent scramble and get money and reproduce it artificially, synthetically, whatever you want to call it. If it's engineered in a plant, if it's part of a breeding or cloning program, it's not something we as citizens could duplicate naturally in our backyard. And that's the point, is to be able to take back the power. I don't want to have to depend on a pharmacy or funding or insurance to be able to get my son the medications that are going to stop the seizures that are killing him. It's that simple. So when we adjust,
because to get what you need.
And the common people don't understand the effects of something like clonazepam or Klonopin on children. I mean, and you as a seizure mom, and I have friends who are seizure moms, they live with this on a daily basis, and they know how hard those narcotics are on their kids, and other people are judging them for wanting to use cannabis. It's like, they will never, even if a baby gets high, if a baby has cancer and you have a THC treatment, if a baby gets high off of THC, that high is nothing compared to the chemotherapy drugs, to the clonazepam, or the Klonopin for anti-anxiety, or these SSRI inhibitors, your benzos. Oh my God. And it's just, there's no way cannabis can compare to these synthetic man-made drugs.
Well, exactly. And the addictions, and I want to touch on something, and we'll get back to dosing in just a minute, but I want to touch on something because it was so incredibly important and ironic in our world. The day we took the signatures to the state capitol in Oklahoma to file to try to get the issue of medical marijuana, legalizing medical marijuana on the ballot in Oklahoma for citizens to vote on, the front page story was that the CDC had just granted Oklahoma $1 million to combat prescription drug overdose.
Wow.
People are dying of a prescription drug fatality every 43 seconds. 22 U.S. soldiers yes, that's 22 U.S. soldiers a day
commit suicide every day.
Commit suicide, and all of them are on pharmaceutical drugs. So, but getting back to what your original question was about dosing, we found out really quickly that we're given guidelines, but even small adjustments make huge differences, timing. But we knew this. Our son won't know how cannabis can help him until he has a clear palette of pharmaceuticals. So our goal is to safely, slowly, and effectively wean him from the pharmaceuticals while making sure that we can in some way, adjust the cannabis through THC, CBD, THCA, so that we can get those down so that he has a chance, so that we can know truly, can he have an all natural medical plan that works to stop his seizures and let him prosper? It's really what every parent wants.
Yeah, I'm wondering if RSO oil might have been a thing to do when he was first to get him off the pharma drugs. What's your thoughts on that, Sonny?
Yeah, I think
So I think about Stacy and
the
parents
RSO oil, the Rick Simpson oil, Phoenix Tears, people have been using to try and cure cancer, also works effectively for seizures. And in my opinion, when we make it for our patients, we use full plant extract. We use the THC, the cannabinoids, every part of the plant, because every part of it helps.
That's right. You focus on the strain and the whole plant compound, because really ultimately all 400 compounds within the cannabis plant work to help each other. And that's, we're missing the boat by trying to isolate compounds. And once again, it's smoke and mirrors. It's an excuse to say, I'm legalizing medical marijuana. No, you're not. You're legalizing below 0.3 THC oil that's called hemp oil. It's already federally legal. It's called a nutritional supplement. So, legalize cannabis. I'll say it. I preach it. Man's law should never outlaw God's creation. Nature should never be illegal, especially not in America, the land of the free.
I like that. I like how you phrase that. Yeah, we need to get some stickers made like that.
Thank you.
I love that. I think if we can put that out, I think we can get a lot more people on board, with this mission. I mean, this is a very, very important mission. I want to really just open up the jails and get a lot of our kith and kin, our friends and family who are locked up for, a very small amount.
That's a risk you take, Amy.
Yeah.
It really is. It can change things up on you at any minute. If you didn't see today in the news, over in Arizona, they had a big raid on a warehouse grow that I think was supplying some dispensaries. And so Arizona hasn't had like a formal medical marijuana program, say, as long as Colorado or California. Now, Colorado hasn't dealt with a lot of the DEA arrests and stuff because of the overregulation there. And I guess people are getting paid off and stuff probably. But no matter how much you think you're following the law, they still harass you. And when I saw that it was Maricopa County, and I knew that sheriff because I've seen him interviewed before, he is a disgusting excuse of a human being. He has absolutely no compassion for anybody that's not old and white, for sure.
Time for sweet sativa.
I saw him interviewed about the jails in Maricopa County and how bad they were, and they were really bad, the treatment, and just inhumane, very inhumane person. And, you get that kind of person as a sheriff, and you got 7 of them actually in Colorado now trying to sue the courts saying they can't effectively do their job now.
Wow.
It's like, well, find another job, boys.
Right.
But, you get those local people, and that they get a hair up their butt about somebody. Like, maybe you might piss one of them off one day, and they say, mother gives her kid cannabis. She's giving her kid pop. We need to arrest her.
Right.
You never know when the tides are going to change.
Yeah.
We have actually, and that's one of the things, especially when we were in Oklahoma, and because my husband was a fireman, we took extreme care to be very open and transparent, but play it by the letter, follow it so that people can learn from it. You can't learn anything when people are hiding things, when they're not doing it by the book.
Right.
It's unfortunate because I know some people, they just can't. We can't condone it. We got to try to make it where we can pave the path
For others.
so that you don't have the opposition. You know,
And
you don't have the
Colorado is a
opposition.
safer place to do it. It definitely is.
Okay,
Like in
well-
California here, I could tell you dozens of stories where people were following the books, registered with the police. They did the tag program up in Mendocino County, and they all came in and they all got arrested.
Wow.
It's really, it's a
Wow.
crapshoot.
Wow.
But in Colorado, you do have it better because of the regulation that you have there.
Oh, we got to
That
do
has
the
really
ID.
kept that.
You're listening to the GoPro
That's
Radio
exactly right.
Network,
Yeah.
the fastest growing network in the galaxy. It's located at www.goproradio.com. And you're listening to the Roll Up Radio Show, guys. It's the hottest show on the internet right now.
Radio show.
That's right. That's right. That's right. No, but go ahead. What you were saying in terms of it's legal, but you could
and
still go to
you
jail.
could have-
Even when it's legal?
you can-
Explain that to me.
Again,
There's
Colorado is a little bit
legalities.
safer.
Colorado is absolutely the most free state in the United States
Yeah.
when it comes to cannabis. And
Yeah,
it is
yeah.
absolutely the only state that we know of where we could actively be a part of our child's medical team, where we could have an equal voice in their treatment, in their medication. And so we have everybody on board. We've been upfront. They know that he is a registered medical marijuana patient. They know that we're one of the non-affiliated families. We chose not to go with Realm of Caring or Flowering Hope. Initially because we were on the waiting list, but then also because the research that I found was that ACDC strains, especially with crossed with R4, seem to be having some really positive whole plant compound effects for older teenage boys with Dravet in comparison to, say, toddler females or even younger boys. Our son was on pharmaceuticals. We had to really come at it from a back door to see because his situation was so different from what was hitting mainstream. But and because of that, and because my husband and I came from a small town, our beloved home of Choctaw, Oklahoma, go Jackets, and our family, our friends, our grown kids, our grandkids. My husband, he's 44 years old. The shot of getting a full-time firefighter position left when we left Oklahoma. He'll have to be a volunteer most likely. But we did it because we knew we had no other choice. In doing so, we also were very respectful because we have a lot of friends and associates that are law enforcement. And, these people are brave. They want to defend the community. And really, I would say honestly, most of them would rather focus on murderers and rapists and child molesters.
That's right.
They don't want to arrest nonviolent cannabis criminals. We would be.
I would say users. I wouldn't call them criminal.
My husband, who's a fireman, would be a criminal in Oklahoma for administering the drops of cannabis oil that we legally can do here in a bordering state.
Yeah, the other side of that, though, with the police and their thoughts, I think that the policemen in the street, the majority of them are like that. Unfortunately, the guys that are signing their checks and doing their budgeting and stuff, they get a lot of money from the federal government for all this marijuana crap. So it's kind of a little vicious cycle there on that. Now, Amy, I don't want to do a 180 here, but I know that you have really put some work into an organization, and I think you need to tell us about that. I can't remember the full name of it, the American Medical Marijuana Refugees. But
the
tell us about
American
that.
Medical Refugee Foundation. Yeah.
And what is the purpose of this foundation?
Well, whenever I was looking at moving here, we were in Oklahoma and we literally didn't know anything. other than what we'd heard and what we'd seen on a few high-profile documentaries. You have to remember, this is back in about 8 years ago when the seizures really took over his life. Hundreds a day. As a 4-year-old little boy that really, for the most part before that, had been healthy. And when I reached out, there were some people that weren't that great to me, and it was heartbreaking because we were already so low and tried so hard. And I told my husband, I said, when we get to Colorado and we see if cannabis is going to work for Austin, because we didn't even know if it would work. It was, like anybody else, it's a wing and a prayer, rolling the dice literally. And so I told him, I said, when we get up there, if we do this, we're going to start an organization, and I'd love for it to be a nonprofit, but we've got to help other parents get there so they can help their kids. We've got to help them. I mean, I literally hear stories about these kids dying while their parents are trying to come up with the money to move to Colorado. And I just couldn't do it. And so we got here in December. I started the American Medical Refugee Foundation, well, it's AMR for short, in January. And then we decided to add it as a foundation and truly go for a 501c3, which we're hoping to file next month. And then I thought, the first thing, what can we do immediately? And so Facebook, information, files on, what do you have to do to get to Colorado? Areas, short-term leasing in Denver, doctors, cannabis friendly, whatever we could find to help them get here sooner. And then I told my husband, it was Easter. It was right before Easter. It was 2 weeks before Easter, and he was coming back, and it would be the first Easter that our children didn't get to go Easter egg hunting with their grandparents or, their brothers and sisters. And so I said, we're not the only ones. I've got to try and do something. Let's try and do an Easter egg event for the refugees. And we threw it together. We had over 140 people. We hid over 750 eggs.
Wow.
Grilled 150
And
hot
there are
dogs.
that many refugees in Colorado, Neil?
It's the second event we had a second event for Mother's Day, and the number doubled.
Wow.
That we had in Colorado Springs, the number doubled. We had over 220
and these are people that have moved for their children.
That's exactly right.
Amazing.
Technically, we say that if you have moved to Colorado from another state or country, you don't have to be an American citizen to be an American medical refugee. If you're living in America because you live in a cannabis-safe state because your country won't allow you to access it, then you are an American medical refugee. And they're coming here in the droves. They're coming here every day. I have phone calls, messages, texts every day. My child is dying. I've got to get there. Please help me. And then the people, but it's also, I don't want to leave out that it's not just about parents, it's about people. And our foundation, if you have moved here to access medical marijuana, then you are an American medical refugee. If you've moved from another state or country, if you've moved from within Colorado, it's not, technically you're not a refugee by our definition. We had to coin the definition. I had to coin the definition for a medical refugee because there wasn't one.
Wow.
But we exist. I promise we are real.
Right.
So, but we hold events. They're free for the families, for the refugees, for their siblings. A lot of people forget that the brothers and sisters that move with the kids, they're leaving everything behind too. And so they're free. We have food, MGA Home Health Care. I'm a CNA at MGA, and they help pay for the catering for the event. We give away prizes, gift certificates. We also give away 1 bottle of Charlotte's Web and 1 bottle of Haley's Hope at every event. As well as, last time we gave out over $3,000 worth of gift certificates and things for refugee families, and it's going to get bigger and better. Our next event is in Denver on Father's Day, so very exciting.
Wow. Let me.
Yeah,
Can I say
wanted
this?
to ask a question about
Okay,
the
go ahead.
cost.
Mm-hmm.
The cost, like you say, you gave away like a bottle of Haley's Hope and Charlotte's Web. There is a cost for the medication, I take it. What about, and I know, I'll just say, some of the patients that we work with, by the time they get to us, they don't have any money. We know that. We can't take it.
Yeah.
It's like, get healthy first, and then we'll worry about it.
Wow, that's great.
Right.
Right thing. So, but in order for them to continue producing this medicine, these people have to eat and grow it, and this all takes cash and money. Is there help for people that can't afford it?
I set up on the American Medical Refugee Facebook page, and it's actually getting fairly large since the laws regarding medical marijuana and cannabis are changing. So we're delegating the AMR Colorado page. We're currently building an AMR California, an AMR Oregon, an AMR Washington, so that people can figure out, okay, this is the state that I'm going to go to. This is the page that I need to go to because it's state specific. In the AMR Facebook page, there are files, lots of files, painstakingly compiled, but one of them is a list of dozens and dozens of financial assistance, links, aspects, scholarships, grants, local to where you've got to go for utility payments if you need help with utility, what the deadlines are, anything that we can find out to help them save any money, we do.
Wow.
I have not been able to find, there's a lot of growers that will sponsor, there's a lot of people that will donate money and donate oil, really, I should say, not money. Jason Cranford at Flowering Hope Foundation is amazing. And like I said, both Realm of Caring and Flowering Hope Foundation have committed to donate the bottles so that American Medical Refugee Foundation can give them out to our refugees, which is pretty amazing because at these events, we had a family whose son was on Haley's Hope but won the Charlotte's Web. So they gave it away to another family who was on Charlotte's Web instead of trying to profit or sell it. These people are trying to help each other. And because we really are in this all together, and the division within the cannabis communities on extremities really needs to change. It's hard, but you don't have to agree with someone to respect them or like them.
Right.
And really, ultimately, we've got the same goal, and that is that Americans should have the freedom to utilize and access a plant that God gave us.
There you go.
It's just that simple.
That's where it's at.
There's no more simpler freedom than that. There's no more simpler freedom.
And you know what? I like your language, because I think the way that you phrased it, I think there is no way someone could, possibly object. I'm quite sure some folks at Fox News can figure out a way to object. But I think any sane person with any kind of critical, analytical kind of thinking process could ever dispute that rationale. And you know what, you seem very, very smart. You seem clear, sober, and most important, credible. And I just want to thank you for your service. You are really a patriot. A lot of people think patriots are people who go along with whatever is out there. People who are constantly on the front line, like Julie and Summer and Chris, who are saying this isn't right, and not just saying it in the comfort of their own home. I mean, we may be in the studio, but we're talking, but we're spending our time. And if you think about it, time is the only thing you can't get back, So when you're donating your time, that's huge, and you're donating, in a sense, your name, your reputation, and everything else to step out and take a position that may be unpopular. In a sense, we're abolitionists. And we may not be popular, but we see that history will find that we were doing the right things, at the time when other people were just, kind of burying their heads in the sand. So thank you for your patriotism. And where can people find you? Where can people get to access this information that you're talking about? Because just listening to you, I want to move to Colorado. Where I could be most free. Woo! For black people. Whoa, black people in this country. Don't say, that word get out. It's free. Where we can be free. But
But it's the truth. It's
yeah,
the
tell
truth.
tell
We
people
have
where we can reach you.
probably the most reliable source of information. We're finishing up our website, so really the Facebook page, because it just blew up. The amount of people that started participating and sharing information with each other just in communication, but the amount of files that we were able to upload and to link and just to get feedback on is our Facebook page, which is the American Medical Refugees Colorado Facebook page.
Wow, that's
And
fantastic.
so, but we, it's very exciting and tremendous. It's an honor. Thank you. To call me a patriot is one of the highest compliments you can give me, because I am absolutely a patriot. Incredibly grateful and blessed and proud to have been born in America. And that's, I feel like I owe it to our society and our citizens, because really, if a plant can stop one seizure, save one life, then why not? It just, we're feeding our citizens pharmaceuticals and chemicals by the droves. Give us our plant back. It's ours. It's not yours. Even though you think you have a patent on it,
Right.
You've got multiple patents.
Right. Right.
But that's, I mean, and it really, I was telling Julie, I said, I'm sick of the new millennium reefer madness. The extent at which people will go, and I have to say, and excuse the language, but I'm not gonna eat bullshit just because you feed it to me.
Right.
And you've got credentials.
That's right.
No, I have a brain. I have freedoms. I'm going to fight for them, and I'm going to fight for the rest of the people that really, literally, this could save their life. It could improve their life, and it could do so without the harmful side effects and after effects that the pharmaceuticals really are hitting us in waves. It's affecting our society not only physically, but emotionally and mentally. I mean, you got people killing themselves and killing others on pharmaceuticals. Stop the hypocrisy.
Right.
It's a plant, and like I said, nature should never be illegal. What's happening, we shouldn't allow our government to continue to let our basic rights be infringed upon by the very people that have a patent on it.
Wow.
Yeah,
Look, listen, I gotta
every
say this. You know what? After hearing you, Amy, forget about Hillary in 2016. It's Amy in 2016. Yeah, that's right. I think we need to make you the first female president. You need to run for office, because I tell you, like I said, you're clear. And I think you make things clear. You make it plain.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Reefer Madness won't let her in just yet, Tyler. The country is not there yet on this.
Yeah.
That's my-
But I think but you know what? I
I
think you know what? But listen to me, Amy. Listen to me. No, but I just want to tell Amy this, and Julie, this is to you too. Whether she wins or not, I think maybe we should just have her run just to get out the issue a little bit more. And she might just win.
Here's why. People try and dig up dirt on me, they find a mountain. They go looking for skeletons in my closet. They find out I let them come out every Sunday and play. I'm in no way perfect.
Right.
I have a list of ex-husbands before my current husband. No child support, but I raised my kids. And and so just keeping it real, we really went down the road of trying it the way that we told was best.
Right.
And we didn't necessarily feed into the reefer madness, but we were in a position in a state where we had to just accept what was given to us. That's not the case in Colorado. And I want people to realize, if you can just get here, just get to Colorado, do it right, and you will change things. You will help change history by doing it this way, by banding together, by sticking together, and by continuing to educate, because you can only deny logic for so long.
Save your children's lives.
If it were their
That's the most
child,
important
if
thing.
it were their child, they would be here just like we are. If it were their child.
You're listening to the
And,
Roll Up
you know,
Radio Show, the fastest,
that's
we're on the
really
fastest
all that
growing network in the
matters,
galaxy.
if it were their loved one. And so, but it's simple as saying, this is just another option for citizens, not Americans, global citizens. This is another option. And if it's an option that is non-toxic, non-lethal, can be, I mean, you think about it, this is a crop that grows in drought conditions and is naturally pest resistant. Our farmers in California could turn around, in the Plain States in Oklahoma, from where I'm from, there would be no economic issues if we legalized cannabis globally. We could concentrate on the issues that really matter. ISIS coming in, killing innocent people, kids starving to death, not just in Africa, but in America. We've got real problems, people. But focusing on a plant because you want more money and you want more power over the citizens, we're taking our power back one person at a time, one radio show at a time. That's just the way it's got to be. It's just the way it's got to be.
I guess they're coming for me, guys.
I love the passion. Love the passion there, Amy. I want to go back and touch on when you mentioned about some of the fighting in the cannabis arena. It really is very unique to us and how public the fights become, and I see so much of it on Facebook, and I just it's just incredible, and especially if anybody looks like they're getting just the least bit of success as a business, they really get attacked. It's crazy because there's so much opportunity to make money in this industry. There is no doubt about it. We know the size of it. And Colorado in particular, now from what I understand, I don't know if you've checked out recreational places, but I know when I asked people in the past, before they had the first rec, okay, back when it was just medical, and they were so over-regulated. But when I asked about the cost of the medicine at the dispensary, I was shocked because it was so low compared to California that is not regulated like that. And I said, well, so much for regulation. And again, it is over-regulated in my mind, the camera from C to the end there. It doesn't need to be watched that closely. It's not, we're not talking about crystal meth here and cocaine and things that really can people up.
Yeah.
So that to me is a little overkill. I don't know I haven't really asked what the prices are today now that recreational has sort of, kind of died down and the novelty of it's over.
Well, and I don't know, as far as cost goes, when people are asking me, it really depends on not only the individual, but the individual's condition. So for example, a child, teenager or under that say has seizures, very often their medicine could be $250 to maybe $500 a month. For a child with cancer or an adult with cancer, it could range from $2,000 to $5,000 a month. But one of the, and this is incredibly important. This is incredibly important. This is all out of pocket. Cannabis is not covered by any insurance company. This is all out of pocket. Right. So number one, we're saving the insurance companies money. But I want to take this into comparison. For our son Austin, whose cannabis medications currently are under $500 a month because, again, we're still experimenting. We're still checking things out. The pharmaceutical drugs that he was on through the state paid insurance in Oklahoma were over $3,500 a month. So cost comparatively, it's also another opportunity to save money. There's just so many positives for it, and the redirection attempts by the powers that be, if you will, they're slowly getting disproven. The myths are being debunked. People are starting to be educated, and not just educated and informed, but they're speaking up about it. They're not just taking it laying down, if you will, and that's incredibly important because they're, men and women fought and died for our freedoms, and I'm not ever going to take that for granted, and I hope that nobody else does. This really should be one of the first eye openers. If a plant is illegal, you are not free, and that just needs to be changed.
Well, that's what I say when people say when I hear you fought for my freedom, I'm like, no, you're not fighting for my freedom. I live in fear every day right now. There's no freedom in America. This is it's a police state here. It really is. And, I mean, they could bust down my door anytime and kill my dog,
Kill you.
It's a reality.
They're killing human beings.
It is. Not. But they definitely would shoot my dog because she'll react. And it's not, I'm a legal patient. I'm totally legal. But who knows when they're, and I don't really live in that much fear because they're not looking for people that are growing a small personal matter.
No, Julie's talking about people like who we had on the show last week, like Max and Shauna,
Yeah.
Who had their kids taken away. And,
And he's in a legal state, Max. I don't know if you saw the show with Max last week. Totally legal state. Which reminds me, I need to talk to Becca this week now that I've recovered from my surgery.
Yeah, I love seeing people like you and your husband who have basically thrown yourself out there head first into this battle because you represent so many different parents.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's
really
very
do.
true.
Yep.
That's very true. We are an unusual circumstance simply because of the fact that his profession and even mine, but when we were in Oklahoma, we were very blessed. Even though we were in Choctaw, Oklahoma, we held the Go Green OK 2014 legalized medical marijuana. Well, it was legalized cannabis petition signing. And at that event, we had the current sitting Democratic Senator Connie Johnson, and we had the Republican gubernatorial candidate for governor at the time. Both appeared at this event. Both spoke. A Republican and a Democrat spoke for the legalization of medical marijuana. It was absolutely historical.
Wow.
And, we love Oklahoma. We miss Oklahoma. There's no place like home. But I can't imagine, I absolutely can say this. Cannabis saved our son's life. Colorado saved our son's life. I do not think Austin would be alive if we had not got him here when we did. I say that with absolute conviction.
Wow. Well, I'm glad you made the right choice.
You better talk.
And you know what? You know what I love about you, Amy, and I've never met you in person, and we haven't even spoke prior to the show. We have a me and a very selfish culture here. You didn't only like it. I think like Harriet Tubman. She didn't just say, okay, I'm free. Later for it. She went back and she risked her life and her limb to free others. And that is just so compelling about your story and so wonderful and beautiful. You didn't just you're not just thinking about, okay, I'm good now, my son is okay and all that, and let me just go into a corner somewhere. You're advocating for, and you're going to save the lives of people who you don't even know their names or probably won't even understand the work that you're doing right now and its impact on their children and their ability to save their child's life. So I just think that that's so selfless and that's so beautiful, and I like to lift up those kinds of stories to inspire others to do the same. To sometimes don't get into this place where we're comfort corrupt. Where I'm okay, I'm good, and all that, and we forget about the others who are not free and whose children's lives, and not just children. I mean, because people feel it's real fuzzy with the kids, but another woman's life, a man's life, another human being who could possibly not die today if they had access to this plant. So I just think that's commendable,
exactly
and
right.
thank you. Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you very much.
Cylon,
Thank you.
is when you see some of these videos, especially when Dr. Sanjay Gupta did his first weed video or documentary, whatever, I was just, I loved him for it. I was like, God, you came late to the party, but
You're
thank
here.
God you arrived, because honestly,
Right,
and I
better
know
late than never.
cannabis activists, yeah, and I know cannabis activists hate the fact that he's done so much, and he's probably done more to advance legalization than all the cannabis activists that came before him. But that doesn't take away from people like Jack Herr or Michael Malta and the Ed Rosenthal's and the people that, risked a lot in the beginning to spread the truth and the word. Right. But he did. And that first documentary where you see Charlotte and having a seizure, and she, the cannabis stops, and it's like, how can you possibly watch something like that and not sign the freaking bill? Tell me, how?
Exactly.
How can you deny a child a life-saving medicine? Who does that?
Because they don't believe. They don't, because it's so many ways.
Video after video after video.
They don't believe, and they're fearful. A lot of people, it's fear.
You can't deny what you see with your eyes.
True, but here's the approach that a lot of doctors and a lot of medical professionals are taking right now, including pharmacists, which is manipulative. But they say, how can we recommend something when we don't know the long-term effects? We haven't rigorously scientifically studied cannabis. Okay, tell me of the pharmaceuticals.
Here, people.
Yeah,
Tell me of the pharmaceutical. Yeah, tell me of the pharmaceuticals that you're giving my son.
Can we hold on, because we're gonna wrap up the stream, but we're gonna take this conversation over time. So folks who want to tune in and check out the show, you got to go to GoProRadio.com. We're gonna have the extended version, but we have to end on this hour. Join us next week. Julie, can you tell folks where they can reach us? Because we want folks to get in contact with us if they have a story and they want to be a part of this movement.
The roll-up page.
Yeah, go to the
roll-up page on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
You can message us there. Amy actually directly messaged me. I'm Julie Indica on Facebook.
Fantastic.
Yeah, we definitely
run,
would love
but you
to
can't hide.
So thank you. My name is Tylon, and for the Roll Up Radio Show, and everyone else, say goodbye, and tune in next week at the same time. Guys, the music.
Interesting on there's not enough research and stuff like that. Like I said, 40 years of cannabis use, and let me just say that my two best friends,